then we can start. So it's something that Alexandra wanted to read, and I thought it was a good idea. So it's the Jellicle Cats by Eliot, which became really famous through the Cats musical, which I haven't really seen. I started watching it, but somehow I didn't watch it. Have you seen it? Have you seen Cats the musical? Because I haven't.
I have seen the theatrical version, the recent movie, some videos from Tony's, from other performances, and so on.
Okay, so you'll tell us if we need anything to know.
Okay.
So you are today's expert. So let's have a look at it. We have Jellicle Cats. What are Jellicle?
Jellicle is a fictional type of cat. Like now there are British cats, there are Scottish cats, and T.C. Eliot, he invented Jellicle Cats.
Ah, good. So why do you call them Jellicle and not some other word? What's in the word Jellicle?
I think there are a few things. Like at first, it's jelly, and jelly, it's this kind of sweet that can move if you touch it, so it will move. And also, I think it's just a very melodical word, because when we say it, Jellicle, it's like bells ring, or something like this. So it's something very, very melodical with music.
I think there's also...
And also, I saw some translation where the translator, he decided to translate it as honey or something like that, like honey, sweetie. I didn't really get it, but at least he did this.
So maybe there's also jolly. You know, jolly? Jolly good? Ickle, like, I don't know, icicle,
Posh to say
miracle?
like jolly.
So maybe they're jolly as well as jelly. Sergey, do you have any ideas?
I don't, but my internet search says that the words were derived from a corrupted way of pronouncing dear little cat. Dear little cat, dear little cat. I can't really make it, but the Urban Dictionary says it was T.S. Eliot infant way of saying that. And of course, it's an interesting word that you can attach lots of meanings to it.
Or have no meaning other than Jellicle.
Well, again, depending on how you attach meanings, you can say it sounds like angelical, you can think that it sounds like something else, and then, of course, depending on how you interpret the rest of the poem, you can also think about
there's echo again. Do you mind using headphones? Because I can hear myself every time I'm speaking, more or less.
You can hear yourself, okay. Well, I'm not sure I know where my headphones are. Maybe I've at least they disappeared.
Okay, well, if you see them the next time, maybe. It's not really good because there's echo coming back again and again.
Then we should probably insist. They say wear masks wherever you are.
Let's continue. So we were talking about the Jellicle, the word Jellicle. And of course it's cool and fantastic when we have some interesting, beautiful new words. Do we know someone else who was famous for his playing with words in this light and beautiful, interesting, strange way. Mayakovsky was a bit of Zanuda. He was.
No, he wasn't.
He was being clever. Oh, you have a fly behind you, Sergey. He was being. He is fantastic. He is cool. I like him, but you can't really read him too much. There's too much brain in his works and too little heart or spirit in most of it. Well, maybe we need it too. Well, what I was thinking, the name that came to my head immediately is Lewis Carroll. His portmonnaie words, his like bland nonsense words, like when you have chuckle and snort and you have chortle. Or if you have fabulous and joyous, or fair and joyous, and then you have frabjous, like oh frabjous day Caloo Calais in Jabberwocky. Yeah. Or gallop and triumph, and then you have galumph again in Jabberwocky. So he's another cool guy who did it. So when you hear Jellicle, how do you feel?
Well, I do feel the music. I do definitely feel the bells ringing, and maybe this a little flair of magic, or something magical about to happen, because I think it's a very magical word.
Where's Sergey again? Oh dear. Where are you again? Oh man. Okay, so what we can do when we hear a word like Jellicle, we can try to explain it like, well, maybe it sounds like jolly and jingle and jelly, or we can take it in a more relaxed, gnomic way and say, well, Jellicle is just Jellicle. Why do we need to kind of explain it? It's a word of sound. It has its own meaning in its sound. You don't have to explain it. You just feel it. You listen to it and you feel it. Maybe it's one of the words which cannot be explained, like om, which is not explained but just the sound. Jellicle, maybe. And of course we have cats. Why do we have cats and not hedgehogs?
Because it's a book about cats.
Ah, why is it not a book about hedgehogs? Oh.
Maybe because cats are thought to be magical creatures. And also, like, they are this type of animals which are very important to different cultures. And not only to cultures, but also to religious history, in terms of the cats were thought to be witches, devils, and etc. And they had a lot of faces and a lot of masks, just in different cultures again.
Yeah, all fair enough. If you could see my cats, they're definitely like humans in cat disguise. Right, so now let's read it. Or maybe I read it. Jellicle cats come out tonight. Jellicle cats come one, come all. The Jellicle moon is shining bright. Jellicles come to the Jellicle ball. Jellicle cats are black and white. Jellicle cats are rather small. Jellicle cats are merry and bright, and pleasant to hear when they caterwaul. Jellicle cats have cheerful faces. Jellicle cats have bright black eyes. They like to practice the airs and graces and wait for the Jellicle moon to rise. Jellicle cats develop slowly. Jellicle cats are not too big. Jellicle cats are roly-poly. They know how to dance a gavotte and a jig. Until the Jellicle moon appears, they take their toilet and take their pores. Make their toilet and take their pose. Jellicle cats wash behind their ears. Jellicle dry between their toes. Jellicle cats are white and black. Jellicle cats are moderate size. Jellicle cats jump like a jumping jack. Jellicle cats have moonlit eyes. They're quiet enough in the morning hours. They're quiet enough in the afternoon, reserving their terpsichorean powers to dance by the light of the Jellicle moon. Jellicle cats are black and white. Jellicle cats, as I said, are small. If it happens to be a stormy night, they'll practice a couple or two in the hall. If it happens the sun is shining bright, you would say they had nothing to do at all. They're resting and saving themselves to be right for the Jellicle moon and the Jellicle ball. Ah, interesting. How do you feel about it?
Sounds like a spell, and it also looks like, well, he titles his poem as Jellicle Cats, and we don't know what Jellicle really means because we can make our guesses, but really we don't know the meaning of this word. So in this poem, he not only talking about, well, he just describes the Jellicle cat and the species. He describes them in their appearance, in their essence, what they do, what they want to do, how they act, and all these little things. So it's like a little bit like, you know, when you read a biology exercise book and you have a paragraph about mushrooms. So you read that mushrooms are this type of plants and blah, blah, blah. And here are their features and characteristics. So it's a little bit the same, but just in poetry.
Of course, it's a big difference between an encyclopedical entry and this poem. Sergei?
Well, yes, I fully agree.
Okay. Right, so what is striking here? What do we notice immediately?
A lot of repetitions of Jellicle. So Jellicle, 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 Jellicle Coots, Jellicle Moon, Jellicle Ball. But, I mean, one of the questions which might come to your mind is, why does he repeat Jellicle Cats so many times? Because he said Jellicle Cats once, he said it twice, he said it 3 times, and yeah, we understood they are the Jellicle Cats, but really, why does he need to repeat it all the time?
Why?
Oh, you said it was like a spell. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I mean, if you try to say they are black, they are small, they're merry, they have faces, or they have eyes, it doesn't really work. So maybe when you are given, when you hear interesting sounds, when you hear a word like Jellicle, it comes to you from the gnomic somewhere, and then you like the sound of it, you want to repeat it. You want to repeat it again and again because it's such a great word, and nobody else uses it, just you here. So you want to use it again and again, to say it again and again. To each time you say it, you kind of activate it, you feel it on your tongue. You feel that magic on your tongue. So you keep saying Jellicle Cats, Jellicle Cats. And because, like you say, it's a spell, so you repeat the name. You repeat the name you call them as you repeat it. So when I read this poem, it's really nice, and it really reminds me of the gnomic. Yeah. It could be the gnomic instead of the Jellicle Cats, really. So how would you describe the Jellicle Cats? What kind of creatures, beings are they? In a few words of yours.
Well, we live for this event, which is Jellicle Ball.
Mm-hmm.
It might be anything, but they do live for it, and it's the biggest event in their lives. They only come under the Jellicle moon, so the moon has to be special for them. And they're really different. So they are of different sizes, different colors, different features, different faces, different eyes. But they're all graceful, and they all know how to dance, and they're all very playful. And it's also interesting that in the poem, for example, he says, so like, there was it, sizes? Okay, well,
what do they say in the poem?
No, I messed up, sorry.
Okay. Sergey?
Well, again, I read the text on the website. You supplied the link, and there's no pictures. And then I got interested, and I found an electronic version of the book, which probably looks like the original book in which it was published, with some funny pictures. Unless I have found it, unless I have looked at, well, some of the basic facts about the poem, I wouldn't really say that Jellicle Cats sounded like jolly cats to me. So it's that, at least for me, it didn't necessarily follow from the words in the poem that the cats were happy little creatures. Little they are, but not necessarily happy, not necessarily jolly, not necessarily joyful.
Yeah, we have words like they have cheerful faces.
Well, yes, and yet he might be kidding, and he might be, well, again, so to me, the atmosphere of the poem was not immediately clear as something that is good.
And it isn't. It's not entirely, as you say, happy. There is a dark side to it, which is why it's so good. Yeah? Yeah. So on one hand we have words like shining, and we have bold, and we have merry, and we have bright, and we have cheerful. They are happy, they are merry. Merry is happy. But then again, what are they? Who are they?
Yeah, and that's the question.
So Alexandra,
and why aren't they active in the night, which is usually the time when the dark forces are supposed to be operating?
The night. The night is not when the dark forces are supposed to be operating. They can operate in broad daylight too. So night has different meanings, let's say. It can be dark and horrible. Why is it dark and horrible? Because you don't understand it. Dark and horrible is something that you don't know, don't understand. Then it's dark and horrible. But if you're one of the Jellicle Cats, you're not afraid of the night. It's your time. And that night is full of magic. Because magic is that very, I don't say thing, that very no thing, which can be dark and horrible if you don't understand it. Or it can be happy and full of dancing, like in this poem, if you understand it. It doesn't depend on the night or the magic itself. It depends on the person. But we have words like shining bright, so it's not bad. It's a good night, apparently. And then again, cat, night, moon is something special. It's the reality where humans are not exactly not allowed, which humans can't really enter unless they turn into cats, just because it's a bit different. Okay, Alexander, you said the cats come in different sizes and colors. We have different sizes. Kind of, we have small, we have not too big. What about maybe small and not too big is the same? I don't know. But what about colors? What colors do we have in the poem?
We have black and we have white.
And black
We
and
also
white.
have bright.
Bright is not a color.
Bright because
Bright's
it's
not a
not,
color.
but it might be confused.
It's bright black eyes, and they're bright in the sense, apparently, that they're clever, not stupid.
Okay, so well then we have black and white.
Yeah, so we don't have really different colors. We have black and white. Okay, now that said, maybe we can have a closer look. It's very interesting. It's very good. Oh. So the Jellicle Cats come out tonight. Not tomorrow night, tonight. So when we start with it, they come out now, literally. There's no waiting. We bring them here, and as we do, they come. We don't have to wait. They come out tonight. Jellicle Cats come one, come all. So now we see that there are lots of them. Not one cat, not two cats. One and all is nice. Because on one hand we have unity, oneness, yeah? They're all one big family, one big magic. At the same time, they have their personalities, all. Yeah? Come one, come all. They're all united, but still we have one and we have all, yeah? It's a very deep kind of magic where you can have one and all at the same time. The Jellicle moon is shining bright. Jellicles come to the Jellicle ball. So we have cats, moon and ball, which all three are Jellicle. Yeah?
Yeah.
So obviously they're all connected. So what do we know about the ball under the moon? What kind of a ball is it?
It is the ball for Jellicle Cats, and they are dancing there.
Yeah, do we know any other balls in the night, in the special moon?
Witches.
Witches, yeah. So that can be exciting or that can be creepy, depending on your point of view on witches. But we have obviously the connection, the cats, the moon, the ball, witches. We have some witching powers in the poem straight from the beginning. Yeah. And immediately we have black and white. We have tonight, night, darkness, and shining bright, light. Yeah. And really that describes the Jellicle Cats. The dark side and the bright side coexisting, and that's the moon in the sky at night. So you may say, you may say, okay, you may say
well,
that.
Well, I mean, isn't it also true that the moon is shining and yet it's still dark? So there's an implicit contrast in the description.
In what way is it dark? Do you mean the dark side of the moon?
Yeah.
Well, we can't see it. What we see is shining bright. We don't see, oh, the moon was dark. We see shining bright, so it is. There's a very interesting kind of mini cycle of lectures on Arabic poetry. There are like 4 meetings, and it was like the second meeting last Wednesday. Very interesting. And we had a look at one poem. Again, it was about a traveler in the night, and he was following the half moon leading him through the night. And then there's an absolutely amazing description of a storm, and it's a religious poem or like spiritual poem. And oh, there's the fly again. Hello. Maybe it's a gnomike. Just behind you, Sergey.
Okay.
So you can see quite clearly the traveler who travels through the night is the author who is seeking for wisdom, knowledge of God. And the moon is guiding him, so it's like a good moon. And it's an old poem, so it's an old image. So a night is like, again, something we don't know. We may be afraid of it, or we may go into it. It's dark because we don't know, not the other way around. Night is like confusion around you. You're looking for your way, and you're looking in darkness, because if it's your way, like we were talking when we were talking about El Dorado, if it's your way, you're going through land unknown, through darkness. It's like in a computer game where you can see bits of a map when you come there, not before, by making them bright. You're going through darkness, and the moon is guiding you. Why the moon? Maybe because it's night, so you can't have the sun guiding you, so you need some light to guide you through the darkness. Or maybe because the moonlight is softer, because if you read again the Bible, if we come back to it, then God has created 2 great luminaries, the big one and the small one. 2 big luminaries, a big one and a small one. And the small one is the moon. Maybe it's closer to the human world, maybe it can guide you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something dark and horrible, the night. It can be just a time full of magic. And the moon is shining bright, it's good, it's guiding you. And then, of course, we have the idea of the ball. And what's the ball? Is, again, dancing in a very magical way, because it's a Jellicle ball. Okay. Phew. Comments? Anything? Jellicle cats are black and white. Jellicle cats are rather small. Jellicle cats are merry and bright, and pleasant to hear when they caterwaul. So the Jellicle cats are black and white. And we have black and white through the poem. We don't have any other colors. Why? Any ideas? Why do we have this monochromatic picture?
Well, it makes it much more impressive, doesn't it?
It does. Any more ideas?
And again, if you think there are some jolly and cheerful sides to the poem, and there are also some creepy sides to the poem, then the contrast is made sort of visible by only employing two colors, black and white, which symbolically means something creepy, something dark, and something nice, pure, something which is white, which is full of light. And again, the moon here is sort of full of light, but there's not enough light for the night to look like it's broad daylight.
Yeah. Alexandra?
No comments so far.
Wow, that was a weird echo. That's really magical, very Jellicle. Wow. I think it was the sound of you on my computer echoing on Sergei's computer. That was really cool, really Jellicle. Right, so black and white. So on one hand you may say that yeah, we nowadays it's kind of popular, common, important for people to show if they're doing some artwork, if it's a film or a book, if there's a character, then it can't be just black and white, you know. He's a horrible person, but he's had a difficult childhood. Or, oh yeah, he's really, really nice, but there's some dark secrets in his past. Yeah. So now we tend to see characters which are complex. Like, oh, it has to be more like real life. You don't have black and white people. Or did I say something not politically correct? Well, you can't have characters who are just bad or just good. But then people get confused in those 50 shades of grey. He's bad, but he's not bad. She's good, but she's not good. Or sometimes we do need to come back to the basics, where evil is evil and good is good, and you know which is which. So you don't say that evil is good because, or evil is evil, but not really evil, or good is evil. Yeah, because it's nice. We need the complexity, but we also need to stay with the basics, which is maybe that's why Harry Potter is so good. I've just been rereading some of Harry Potter, and you notice how there is that more or less black and white picture through most of books. Like, Harry Potter is good and Voldemort is bad, and there's no question. You don't say, wow, Voldemort is bad, but really, no, he's just bad. Yeah. So we do need it, and Jellicle Cats bring us back to the basics. They take us away from this confusion. You look at the character, at the person, I don't know, maybe he's not really good, bad. Now there's black and white. It's really, really clear, okay? Then again, it's the image of the night, because, you know, all cats are black in the night. So it doesn't matter what color they might or might not be, in the night they're all black and white. Then there's this really amazing connection between, first we have the big image of the night in general, the great big endless night, which is dark, with a big shining moon, which is white. And then the dark night with the white moonlight becomes the Jellicle Cats, black and white all the night. So they're the essence of the night. We can see it because we just seen it. It's just described a line before. And if you think about it, then black and white are the like prime colors Any culture starts with black and white and sometimes red. Again, we do need to come back to the basics. Somebody said, who was it? Somebody said that lots of people think deeply. Oh, there's some morgonomic behind you. Lots of people think deeply, but very few think clearly. So basically that's what happens in modern so-called science with physics, where people just go into purely mathematical models and they invent more and more stuff, but none of it is real. It's just a model, like in Monty Python. Camelot, it's only a model. Yeah. So instead of thinking clearly, they think deeply. And again, that brings confusion more and more. But here, we are back to it. We are back to the clear basics. Black and white are the beginnings of the culture. Very basic things. And you say white is happy. But again, if you look at history, at culture, then black is a color of death, but white is also a color of death. They're both really the opposite, but they're the same. It's really amazing. On one hand, evil is evil, good is good, black is black, white is white. But if you look even closely, there's no difference. Yeah, I really like how the word black and the word blanc, or blanche in French, which is like white, it's the same word. Literally, it's the same root, the same word. Black and white are the same. And they do take you to, like, a little bit the world of the dead. They both take you to death. A night, moon, black and white. I'm not saying he's talking about death in this poem. But as you read it, it kind of invokes the connection. Because it's something really, really basic, and he keeps repeating it. It's important that they're black and white, black and white, black and white. In the night, black and white. So they are, who are they? Some kind of spirits, really. Dancing in the night, that's like spirits. They're not people, they're cats, so they're like spirits. And they're some really, really primitive spirits, not in the sense simple, but in the sense prehistorical, primitive, like primitive history, when you only had black and white, and before all the of civilization began. They are really ancient in that sense. Whatever they are, whatever form they take in today's reality, they have really deep roots. Comments?
Oh, that's certainly true. And, well, many grand events, something that is supposed to be grand, is often accompanied by white. White bridal dresses,
Death,
black coats, and even all those balls. It's probably not true for many of today's balls, if they do exist, but in the old days, maybe some 20, 30 years ago, people coming to parties in Western countries are supposed to be wearing beautiful dresses, which are often a combination of black and white for women, and
white and black for men. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Simply because it's a grand occasion. It's a big occasion, and you have to be dressed to match.
Yeah, so why is it so important? Why do we think that black and white are such solemn colors? Precisely because of that old, ancient connection. So even if we don't think about it, we still like black and white because it's so laconic, and because it brings you back to the basics, apparently. Which is one of the details, let's say, one of the reasons why I like the Chinese paintings, black and white, because like I mentioned in one of our talks, that's one of the ideas, that you concentrate on the nuances, black and white, and you see more. Whether if you have lots and lots of colors, you just get confused.
And that is true. It's also true of our books. Some books use other colors, but very often what we see is a sort of a dark color, usually black, in case of print books, and white paper. Again, it's not necessarily bright white. It might be something like a bit yellowish or something, but again, we are accustomed to think that it's black, meaning the letters, and white, meaning the paper. And it's only in children's books, which might be the case with this. It's only in children's books where you usually have full color illustrations, pictures.
So is it a children's poem? Is it a children's poem?
Is it a children's?
That's another question, isn't it? Okay. I mean, very often you find more secrets, more information in like children's books, nursery rhymes and things. Even if they are modern, it doesn't matter. Okay, because it has to be placed where people who are looking for it can find it, and if you're brave enough to read children's books, then you find it. If you're just being academical, you'll never see it. Again, like in Harry Potter, if you look at the last book, they find the essential secret in a book of fairy tales for children. And Voldemort, the bad guy, he has no idea because he's never read it. Okay, so black and white. Back to basics. Jellicle cats are rather small. Again, it's like spirits, the gnomic or whoever, or they tend to be described as small. And again, why small? Small is like you don't have too much self-importance. If you're big, like, oh, I'm big, look at me. If you're big, you're important. If you're big. If you're small, on the other hand, you're more free, you're more agile, you're more flexible. You can go where the big guy cannot go. Yeah? Just because you're small. So they're small, they're light, they're flexible. Interesting. Rather small. Spirits. Jellicle cats are merry and bright. Oh, that's definitely the gnomic. The gnomic like the word merry. It's a good word. To be merry. They like the word merry. They like the word gay. They like the word fey. They don't really like the way that people use these words today, but they know their real original meaning and they like it. And they say we should use it more in the original sense. The poet could not but be gay by such a jocund company, with the daffodils, the classical poem, Wordsworth. So merry, 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 not just happy, but merry. Again, it's a special word which brings you back to the world of spirits, like Robin Hood and his merry men, merry little people, yeah, merriment. And then now we have the hobbits, one of whom has the name Merry, and bright, and bright. So the moon is shining bright, and now the cats are bright. So that's another connection with the moon, in case if we failed to notice it in the first place. And again, it tells us that they're not evil, even if they dance in the night. They're merry, they're bright, they don't mean anything bad. Yeah. And pleasant to hear when they cut a wall. That's beautiful. What can you tell me about it?
Well, on the one hand, there's nothing special about it, because we all know that both humans and other animals produce sounds, and we are well aware of the sounds that our domesticated cats produce. Here, though, they seem to be capable of producing this gentle, jellicle sound, which again is difficult to explain. It sounds good, just the way the word jellicle sounds good, but it's when you try to explain what's good about it, you are at a loss. I'm at a loss.
Or maybe Alexander is not at a loss?
Well, I think that when we see this line, that unpleasant to hear when they cut a wall, usually when we say that there is a cut wall, it's not something that's pleasant to hear. It's usually is associated with some aggression, with unpleasant sounds, with cats screaming, and when cats scream, you know, your ears, they just hurt. But here it's very pleasant, so we might suggest that it's not some kind of aggression or a quarrel or something, you know, that common and that known to us as cats during the night, screaming, and we can't sleep because of it, but it's rather something magical and something very melodical again, because they are Jellicle Cats. So it's a real concert, and it's some kind of a very beautiful concert, which is again pleasant to ears. So it means that these cats, they probably do not sound like usual cats. Because when a normal cat would scream or would try to make a sound, it either meow or some kind of that screaming sound. So
my aunt has a cat, and he can say in my uncle's voice, he's like, "Bugger off, go away." He can say it. He can say
song, but we're talking about songs right here. So I would suggest that these cats, they're magical, and they also have something more close to the human voices, because they can sing.
Yeah, so what we have now, we know they're dancing because we have the ball. Now it's also singing. So we need some kind of music, we need some kind of a song, especially if it's, it's an essential part of magic. A poem is a song, is a spell. Of course you need to hear it. So they are, I don't know, is it spell, is it song? You can hear them. And of course we have cat in Caterwall. I guess it's obvious. They're cats, so they cat the wall. It's again, it's not a human song. It's not something that a human brain can understand and decipher. It's magic on its own. Yeah, you hear it and it works, but you don't know what it is. You just not what it is. Because it's not a thing to know. But it's here and it's working, it's magical. Again, it's like the spirit language, or the language of the fairies. Fairies with A-E. Caterwall, cat language. And again, they're pleasant to hear. Then again, if you remember all those real traditional stories about fairies, the fairy folk, the little folk, again, there are the small, that's what they do. They're dancing in moonlight, and there's fairy music, and it's really, really nice to hear. But if you listen to it, if you come too close, you may stay there forever, or you listen to them, you dance with them, and then you come back and it's been like 300 years, 400 years, or you never come back. That's what the spirits do, the traditional fairy folk. Is it maybe it's also a part of it. So they're pleasant to hear when they cat a wall, but they're not just white, they're black and white. So it doesn't say that it's safe for the human to come and listen. Maybe it isn't. Maybe. Pleasant doesn't always mean good for you. So in that part, we look at them kind of from far away. We see some shades in the night. We see something black and white moving. We see it small. We can hear them. When we can hear them, we come closer, apparently. We come into the circle, and now we can see their faces. Jellicle cats have cheerful faces. So we knew they were merry and bright. Why repeat it? Because now we can see them. Have cheerful faces. Jellicle cats have bright black eyes. So now we can look at them into the eyes. We are really, 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 really close to them. And their eyes are black again. Interesting. So do you know many cats with black eyes?
Not really.
No. Blue, green, yellow, black? So they're not...
So there's much as unusual cats.
So they're really unusual cats, because they're not really cats at all. They're like spirits. Again, we have the word bright. The moon is shining bright, they are merry and bright, and their eyes are bright. And bright is so shining and clever, intelligent. Yeah. So even if they are dancing and singing in the night, doesn't mean they're just stupid little cats. It's not just making a sound in the night. It's complicated. It takes intelligence, intention to do it. Bright black eyes. And again we have the words bright and black next to each other. So it's black, but it's bright black. It's dark light, bright black. Again, in the same cat. Anything else?
If their eyes are bright and black, you might see them in the dark. Because usually when your eyes just black, and it's dark around you, it's night, you won't be able to see the eyes. But here you can see them because they're bright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because it's moonlight. Maybe they are shining, maybe their eyes are shining from within, so you can see them. Maybe. So you can see the faces. They like to practice their airs and graces and wait for the Jellicle moon to rise. Well, that's nice, that's nice. Practicing, again, it's a skill, it's an art. Magic is a skill, magic is an art, like any art has to be practiced. Okay? Again, if you know Harry Potter, you know it's true. Oh, airs and graces. What about airs and graces?
Well, they come into the ball, so they practice in their airs like an opera song.
Mm-hmm.
And they also practice their graces because if you are going to sing a type of song which is an opera song, you have to present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be graceful on stage, you need to make some moves, you need to know how to act,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what kind of air do they have? An air of importance? Majestic air?
I think it depends on their character because, well, if you know the musical, each of these cats are going to sing one song about themselves, about their
Mm-hmm.
life, and each of these songs is going to represent, well, not all the genres of music overall, but a certain type of music genre which is suitable for this precise cat.
Yeah. So they're airs and graces in plural because they're all different. And then again we have the word air, which brings air into the poem. Brings us a fresh air, we can breathe in it. And we have the word grace. Again, if you say, no, cats, moon, night, a ball, witches, then maybe, but we have grace in it. And grace cannot be faked, it's always real. And if you have grace in it, then it's okay. Unless it's another little trick. Could be. You think it's the grace, but it's their grace. Maybe. Maybe there's only one grace, but they have graces. So that's a bit ambiguous, I guess. Wait for the Jellicle moon to rise. So we have this expectation, we have the tension building up. Well, then we can see the moon rising. But we are waiting at the same time. And it's nice because we don't see the ball itself in this poem, but we see kind of behind the scenes. We see them practicing. We don't just see the fruits of their practice. We know that they need to work for it, to set their minds on it. Okay. Of course, wait for the moon to rise, wait for their powers, wait for themselves to rise, to come into full energy, to open up, to show who they are. And until then, hiding, practicing. So Jellicle Cats develop slowly. I also like the rhythm. Really spell like ta ti ti ta ti 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 ta ta ti ti ta ti 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 ta ta ti ti ta ti 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 ta ti 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 ta. Maybe you can fall asleep while listening to it. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that would be you would have a magic dream. Maybe. Jellicle cats develop slowly. Jellicle cats are not too big. Jellicle cats are roly-poly. They know how to dance a gavotte and a jig. Anything you can tell me about it?
Well, again, if you read them the way you do, it might be something bright and nice, something really suitable for children who, as far as I know, often find this rhythm sort of amusing. But is it really amusing? Isn't there something behind the story told by Eliot?
You tell me. So again, we like to have like a complex rhythm, which is like, oh, it's like a real speech, like nobody speaks in such rhythm, like. And it's the same as coming back to black and white, coming back to some basic rhythms as well. This primitive magic, prehistoric magic, the basic magic, the heart of the magic. Again, where does poetry come from? From spells. It has to be rhythmical. What is interesting here is that there's no rhyme. Or maybe Jellicle Cats is the rhyme, and it rhymes in each line, like most lines. Jellicle, Jellicle, Jellicle rhymes with Jellicle, not in the end, but in the beginning of the lines, maybe. So, Jellicle Cats develop slowly. Are they retarded? Are they retarded?
Well, I think what he does here, he creates a week for them. So you said that there is no rhyme, but I feel like there is a rhyme. So it's like, you know, when you dance the waltz, you can hear the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here he also creates this rhyme, like you are reading with this rhyme. So
rhythm can be a kind of a rhyme, yeah.
Yeah. So develop slowly. So we are talking about the ball, and the Jellicle moon has already rise. So it's on the sky, and the ball begins. So they start slowly, and they're not too big. So there are plenty of them, and they start with a very funny move, which is roly-poly, which means that, you know, before you start the actual dance, you usually make a couple of funny moves, which helps you to get warm and start to feel the rhythm. So I think it's something like this.
Sergey? Okay. Right, so you can read it differently, whether you believe it's about the ball or it's about the cats. So develop slowly, you may say, well, it's about the ball beginning at a moderate pace, then getting faster, and more crazy. Or you may say that the cats develop slowly, they grow up slowly, they're in no hurry, they live in their own time stream, again different from human time stream, and what is slow for us is just the right pace for the cats. And if they take 500 years to develop, it's fine for them, it's nothing, maybe. Again, they develop slowly. The word slow, slowly, there's no rush, no hurry. They have all time in the universe. They live in a different kind of time. Because if you look at the mythological space, then there is no time. Time moves at the speed that you move, really. Jellicle cats are not too big. So we said they're small, and now we say they're not too big. Is there any difference?
the difference. If they're small, it means that we are comparing them to something like, for example, with a human being, and in comparison to a human, they're small.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have, so are not too big, when we want to highlight something about them, maybe that they're very graceful and they can move easily, but it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different because in the first place we make a statement like they are small, a positive statement, and now we have a negative statement, not big. So we kind of move to the other side. No big is different from small. If they're not big, they can be anything. If they're just small, it's more precise, I guess. Then again, we have the word big, not too big, so they are a bit bigger. They develop, they become a bit bigger in some way. And then they are roly-poly. Or what does roly-poly mean? It's like round, or when you're fat but in a nice way. Roly-poly. So they look a bit funny. They look like little balls. Maybe. They're not necessarily slim. They're different. And roly-poly is like a funny word again. Jellicle, roly-poly. And we have the word role in it. Like they're playing. They have some kind of a role to play. Maybe. Playful. Maybe. They know how to dance a gavotte and a jig. Now we come to dancing specifically. Gavotte and jig. What kind of dances are they? Do we know?
Something that you can see when people go to the balls in the 18th or 19th century, probably the 18th century, is the likely candidate for person.
And,
well, if it is the 18th century, then only noble people could arrive at the balls, and the balls were sort of a social assembly where things were discussed, marriages were more or less made. People could fall in love, people could exchange.
well, a ball is a social meeting, and it is a kind of a social meeting for the cats in here too. Or
yes.
it can be like a magical ball, again, kind of social, but not really. When all the magic creatures come in one place to, well, really to just have fun all together. Okay. Anything else? Okay, what kind of dances are gavotte and the jig? Are they slow dances or are they quick dances? Do you know?
They're quite quick.
Mm-hmm. So, like...
They're quite merry.
Yeah, so they're happy, quick, fast dances, folk dances. And if you say that somebody is dancing gavotte in a jig, then probably it's like an agile person again. It's again this movement, the magic of the movement. Do you know many cats who can dance gavotte in a jig?
Well, probably they all can.
Mm-hmm.
But we never see it because we never see them when the Jellicle booth is shining bright.
Yeah, and it's not because we can't see them, but because we are in a different reality. We can't see their reality, which is why we can't see them. I guess so. Okay. So it's all really very much referring to spirits, again, to the fairy folk. That's just the kind of the dance that they are dancing, something fast, something merry, cheerful, happy, something that can, if you happen to see it, something that can easily suck you in. It doesn't have to. It's not the main idea of such ball, but it kind of expresses the wild energy, sudden wild magic. Until the Jellicle moon appears, they make their toilet and take their repose. Jellicle cats wash behind their ears, Jellicle dry between their toes. So again we have the Jellicle moon in each stanza. It's not here yet, but still it's here in every stanza. It shines throughout the poem. We are bathing in this not yet existing and yet existing moonlight as we read it. Until the Jellicle moon appears, it's already here because we see it. They make their toilet and take their repose. Comments?
Well, isn't it something that all cats do, on the one hand? Isn't it something that many children hate doing, on the other hand?
Mm-hmm.
So if it is something to direct to your little kid, then it is probably a good incentive, sort of motivation, something that can motivate your kid to wash behind his or her ears. But maybe there's a second meaning attached to it. I'm not sure I know what the underlying meaning might be.
Whatever you see in it. Whatever you see in it. Because it only becomes alive when somebody is looking at it. That's the only way any spell comes alive, when somebody is looking at it. Alessandro? Right. So, yeah, they make their toilet.
Yeah. No, continue. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this line, so I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later.
Okay, I'll just say then that it's the same as they like to practice and wait for the Jellicle moon. Again, they're waiting for the Jellicle moon, and they make their toilet the same as they're practicing. They're preparing. Mm-hmm. Okay, please.
Yeah, so here we have the last line. We have Jellicle dry between their toes. So it's interesting because he might be talking about cats still, so he kind of means Jellicle cats are dry between their toes, or he can mean the Jellicle dry, so it's a little bit absurd.
Well, maybe not really. Or they do what? They wash and or they dry. Like the opposites again, coming together. So, on one hand, it's something that is, like you, Sergei, said, strikingly cat-like, something that cats do, and you can immediately see a cat, a real cat, doing it. At the same time, if you think about people, fairy folk or human folk, and they make their toilet and take their repose, is okay, is fine, everybody does, but then they wash behind their ears, a bit more interesting, and then they dry between their toes. Do you often dry between your toes?
Well, it's kind of like a usual state. You're not wet between your toes.
Mm-hmm. So we look at them from head to toes, literally. And again, we move from one to another for the opposites. Washing, which is connected with like water, usually, and drying. Again, opposites. So you keep your head cold and your feet dry. Is that what they say? Keep your head wet and your feet dry. And it's really amazing how we can see their toes, because it's not a part of the body which you often can see when you look at a character in a book or a poem. What is usually described is eyes. We have eyes, a face, we have face. About toes, hands, yeah, we don't have hands in here. We have toes because they're going to dance, and feet are important. Toes are important. We don't have any hands in here, and not because cats don't have hands, because we don't need them in a dance, apparently. We need ears, we need to listen, and we need toes. Again, it's not just dancing on tiptoes, a very specific kind of dancing. Would it be? Ballet? Or just quiet, maybe? Again, unusual. Right, how about a short break?